Welcome back. NFL Week 5. We are talking primetime games, Sunday and Monday Night Football, and I have strong opinions on both games. Before I get into those games, if you could please do me a big favor and like this video or maybe leave a comment, I'd really appreciate it. I had the Week 5 game breakdown videos finished and edited, and 80% of the video, the audio went blank, so it's been a real shitty week for me. So need some sympathy here. Okay, Sunday Night Football. Let's go. Cowboys Steelers. This line was Pittsburgh minus 2.5 all week until Friday afternoon. We started to see some threes pop up, and that's probably related to the Cowboys' final injury report that Micah Parsons were ruled out, and DeMarcus Lawrence was already ruled out and added to the IR early in the week. These two players combined for half of the Cowboys' team total sacks this year. Cornerback Kalen Carson dealing with a shoulder injury. He's a true 50-50 questionable to play for Sunday. These injuries up front for the Cowboys are a big deal, especially considering what the Steelers want to do. They want to run the ball at a heavy formation, which is where the Cowboys' weakness is, and take away their two best on the defensive front. It's now even weaker. Look at what the Ravens did versus Dallas, which Baltimore is just a much better version of the Steelers' offense. They both run a very similar style offense, just Baltimore does it way better, and they put up big numbers on the ground versus Dallas. The Saints hung 44 on Dallas and ran the ball up and down the field on them. The two games the Dallas defense held up and looked okay were against the Giants and Browns, two offenses that are broken up front on the offensive line and have no ground game. I think the Steelers will have no problem moving the ball on offense. We know the Steelers' defense is solid, but I think Dallas is going to have success moving the ball as well. If we look on the other side with Dak Prescott and this Dallas offense with CeeDee Lamb and what they've had the most success against, it's teams that play cover one and man coverage. Dak is one of the best QBs in the league when facing cover one and man. This happens to be what the Steelers play a ton of. Even when Pittsburgh shows pre-snap cover 3 or zone looks, they're disguising and rotating into man coverage most of the time. We saw the Cowboys struggle last week versus the Giants. Giants defensive coordinator Shane Bowen, he sits in this soft zone coverage. Dak and CeeDee Lamb have had big games against every man coverage defense they've faced. Now, my first thought was to bet the Cowboys. I do make them 1-point favorites in this game without adjusting for injuries, but even still, getting Dallas +3 when I have them as, say, a pick'em or a 1-point favorite seems very appealing and something I'll probably have to do if I want to trust my numbers. Also, a teaser on Dallas fits the optimal Wong teaser strategy, but I really don't want to bet against the Steelers and Mike Tomlin coming off a loss. Tomlin's one of the best coaches after a loss. 8-2 against the spread their last 10 after a loss. Tomlin's 57-41, 58% in his career following a loss. It goes up to if it's at home after a loss, which it is. Plus, I basically have a bet against Dallas every week. I have future bets on them to miss the playoffs and to finish under 10.5 wins. So I'm not going to try to pick the winner of this game. Instead, I'm just going to bet the over 43.5. As we know now, 44 is a key number in the NFL for totals. So we always want to be on the right side of 44. And I think the way both offenses match up in this game, we do see some points. Now, the Monday night game, I have a strong opinion on both the side and total. Saints go to Arrowhead Stadium to play the defending champs. The big question, I guess, here is which Saints team will show up. The team that outscored opponents 91-29 the first 2 weeks of the season, or the team that lost last 2 weeks to Eagles and Falcons. I am going with the Chiefs here, -5.5. I have this posted as a best bet in the Discord community. Saints coming off that type of loss that's really tough to bounce back from. And if we go back to before the season started, I had the Chiefs as the highest rated team in the league, 6 points better than league average. I had the Saints a half point worse than league average. So if these two teams played week 1, I would have made the Chiefs -6.5-point favorites on a neutral field. And then if we factor in home field advantage, it'd be KC closer to 8.5-point favorites, with KC getting 2 points for home field advantage at Arrowhead Stadium, playing a dome team outdoors on grass. But fast forward to now, after 2 really impressive games by the Saints, I actually only make this line KC minus 4.7, which does show value on the Saints. But those two games to start the season by the Saints have their numbers skewed dramatically. And I'm not saying KC should be favorites of 8.5 in this game because things have certainly changed since week one. Mainly for KC, Isaiah Pacheco and Rashee Rice going down for KC. The New York Giants, Malik Neighbors, is the number one contributor to a team's offensive success, while Rashee Rice is the number two. So losing him is huge, and you can't just fill production on such a short notice with a guy like him. But I think Andy Reid and the Chiefs will be fine. I would assume or hope they go to heavy personnel, two tight end sets with Noah Gray getting more involved. Chiefs should be able to run the ball with Kareem Hunt. So in this matchup, without Rashee Rice, I actually think it could work out okay. I really like this Chiefs bet if Saints middle linebacker Demario Davis is ruled out. I think he's going to play, but he's been limited at practice all week and won't be 100%, but he's tough as nails, so I'd be really surprised if he doesn't suit up and play. It's extremely tough to step in front of this Chiefs team right now, whether it's help from the refs or the league. And if all that fails, I mean, they still have Mahomes to do what he can do. The Chiefs are really like the new New England Patriots. And I love this matchup of Chiefs defense versus the Saints offense. KC has the linebackers to match up with Alvin Kamara. The Chiefs defensive front versus the Saints banged up offensive line. Saints are going to be without their starting center and right guard. And it's no coincidence that the Saints have looked much different since these injuries to their O-line. I think KC should be able to get to Derek Carr. And I've been saying this all year, how different Derek Carr looks when under pressure. Of course, every QB is better when not facing pressure, but Derek Carr's numbers fall off a cliff. Chiefs defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo and this Chiefs defense understand that the pressure is on them to hold this team up while the KC offense deals with injuries and figures things out. I think the KC defense can dominate this game. And that also leads me towards the under. But not just because I think KC limits the Saints' offense, but if we look at KC and their scoring output the last 4 weeks, they've just declined each week. You can't just keep losing offensive skill position players and it not have an impact. Chiefs are a legit under team now, especially at home, and it's because they bleed the play clock with any type of lead. Since 2018, KC at home in the second half have gone under the total 63% of the time. 43 unders, 23 overs, and 2 pushes. During that span, full game unders are hitting 61% of the time. 41 unders, 26 overs. So I do like the under here. I think there is a little value on the under too because Monday Night Football games this year have all been high scoring. The overs are 5-1 on Monday Night Football games, and they haven't been just sneaking over either. These totals have gone over by an average 11.5 points. So I think that trend breaks this week, though. So give me the Chiefs and the under in this one. If you've gotten anything out of this video, either helpful or informative, and could give this video a like, I'd really appreciate it. There's a million people doing game previews and sports betting content. I definitely don't have the production or editing skills to compete with a lot of channels, but I try to make up with it with information that can be used to make smarter bets. What would be awesome is if one day I could just sit and record the videos and then have someone else edit them for me. If it was that easy, I'd be doing videos 2 or 3 times a day. One day I'll get there, though, but I'll need you guys' help. That's all I got for this one. Until next time, good luck with your bets.